Hey everybody, this is Perch. One more thing. So I want to thank Elegoo again for sending me this amazing resin printer. I've been having a good time with it. The kids have been having a good time with it. My kids are very fond of Pokemon, so I thought I'd show you one of the things that's a result of it. Here we have, look at the quality of this. It's just very nice, very detailed. This is a Leafeon, and kids love their Pokemon, so that's been a pretty cool thing. And then you can do some more detailed stuff like this guy here, which we have a stand that's in a clear resin, so he looks like he's actually coming out of the water. So really cool printer, very easy to use. Really having a great time with it. But the really cool part I have to add is if you throw in some paint, well, you start to get stuff like this. And look at that. That is just, again, maybe you're a fan of Pokemon, maybe not, but you put a little bit of texture and some paint on here, you can get a fire effect like this, and that's not terrible. So in terms of having some good fun with these guys, been a pretty fun printer, pretty fun experiment here. You get some interesting texture effects on there, and really pretty fun to work with. Anyway, thanks, Elegoo. Kids are having a great time.
The moment is here, you can stop your search. It's Comics by Perch.
Hey everybody, this is Perch. This is a longer mail, so let's get right to it. It says the issue is respect. So by the way, I've done a lot of videos about the dynamic between customers and fans and everything else. And at the end of the day, we're all making it way too complicated. The issue here is we don't own these properties as customers. Other people do. They can do whatever they want. We have the power in the sense that we can buy it or not buy it. It is understandable that some of these properties have been around for a long time. The companies have built up a lot of loyalty, and then they're fucking around because they're doing who knows what with these brands. And it's their right to do so because they own it, but it doesn't mean we have to like it. And there you go. At the end of the day, it all comes down to it's your money, you do what you want. And I guess I will tell you this, and this is kind of the dad me coming out for a moment before we get to the mail. It's this. It's, look, don't worry if people respect you. That sounds weird, but I've been on this planet for a long time. I'm not 50 yet. A lot of people have guessed at my years, but I'm not 50 yet. I'm getting close. The worst thing to do is to wrap your self-value into other people's perception. It's your business, and it's hard to do. And a lot of the tools and the things like social media, like YouTube, like Twitter, they kind of are trying to train you to put your self-value in their hands. It's why people get obsessed when they post a tweet and it doesn't get enough likes, or an Instagram post and doesn't get enough likes. They're trying to train you to give your self-value into their hands. And the reality is, fuck those people. It's you. You get to decide what you're worth, not them, not anyone, just you. And that does mean that some of you may be awful, shitty people out there who are running around, being terrible. But I can't do anything about that. I can't tell you how to live. Nobody can tell you how to live. You get to decide that yourself. And so it does mean that in the world, we get to deal with the fact that there are shitty people out there. And there are good people out there. And there are people who will tell you whether you're shitty or good. But at the end of the day, that's just them. You get to decide. And then at some point in your life, you may decide to get married or have a significant other or a brother or a sister or a cousin or a father or mother or grandfather, whatever it happens to be. And you may put your self-worth in their hands. And that's called love. If you love someone, you put your self-worth in their hands, and then, you trust their judgment as much as your own. And that, at the end of the day, is love. But anybody else trying to tell you what you're worth, like if Tom King goes on Twitter and says, these people are a bunch of evil fucking Nazis, cool. That's Tom King writing something on his phone while probably sitting on the toilet having a runny shit in who knows where, Santa Monica, some dirty bathroom there before he goes out and gets a hand job from some stranger. I'm kidding. I'm kidding, Tom King. I'm kidding. My point is, who cares what Tom King thinks about you? Who cares? I don't care. And for a lot of you who come on and like, well, this guy's an asshole. I don't care what he thinks. If you didn't care what he thinks, you wouldn't keep bitching about it. So just stop caring. It's not you. And I hope you're a good person. But at the end of the day, fuck off. All right, so that was a lot of heavy shit. Let me get to this mail. It says, the issue is respect. There we go. Hello, Perch. Thank you. Very formal. First off, I want to say this mail isn't meant to be combative. I'm being sincere. Cool. I'd say every couple weeks you respond to mails where your conclusion is basically, look, my problem isn't woke, it's bad writing and cheap talent. That's true. I think woke is a distraction. I still think it's a distraction. I think if it's a good story, whether it's woke, non-woke, semi-woke, woke adjacent, I don't care. If it's a good story, I'm going to enjoy it. I don't really care. The thing is, woke, quote unquote, I'm doing air quotes here, woke tends to invoke a lot of dumb shittery that is like popular buzzwords or slogans or other dumb shit, which tends to take away from a good story. So even if, let's say, you are a hardcore, you believe 100% of the person who's writing the comic, your politics align completely, but they are trying to insert a bunch of buzzwordy bullshit, it's going to be a shitty story, even if you agree with their politics. That at the end of the day, quality does win out. But let's see what the rest of the mail says. It says, my own objection in comics is one out of respect. Whether it's respect to the customers, colleagues, or the characters you're writing, if anything, creators seem to be rewarded by disrespecting characters, like writing off Golden Age heroes as toxic white men, or the vandalism that Tom King does. To make it about woke, do you not see a correlation between the two? Sort of, but woke equals sloppy. Like, here's the thing. Ethan Van Sciver, John Malin, the other people who are out doing your live streams and jerking off to get attention. Look, you should stop calling it woke and start calling it sloppy. Because at the end of the day, that's what a lot of this is. A lot of woke or non-woke or anti-SJW or whatever the fuck it is, it's sloppy. Wolverine is a character who has an established history, manner, way of talking. And if you have Wolverine show up and go, I'm fighting the patriarchy, that you could call that woke until you're blue in the face. Another word for it, a much easier word for it, is it's sloppy. That's not Wolverine. That's not his character. That's not how he behaves. That's stupid as fuck. So stop making it silly by calling it woke and just call it what it is. Sloppy. Sloppy equals bad story. That's what it fucking is. All right, so here we go. I know you say it's about cheap talent, but is it? King, Wade, and Coates aren't cheap writers. Yeah, they are. But at one time or another, they've all fallen into this trope of what I would call woke-specific form of deconstruction. Megan Fitzmartin is building a career out of this. These people write comics from the starting point of, so, you like old comics, do you? Let me tell you why you're toxic through the mouths of the very heroes you love. There's no level of writing skill that negates the fact that it's a shitty thing for a writer to do. There's an obvious link between personal politics and writing stories with that message. I mean, none of these writers ever turn out to be crazy MAGA types. It's always to one direction, and all the good writers seem to be politically moderate. McDonald's hires cheap, but we don't hear about their employers calling people toxic for loving the McRib. That would be really strange. Except, unfortunately, I hate to break it to you, if you go to TikTok or Twitter, you will find plenty of people calling McDonald's employees that, and McDonald's employees calling the customers that. It's out there. I swear to God, go find it. At the end of the day, are there crazy MAGA comics? Yes, there are. There's some shitty comics, and we should stop pretending that they're somehow better just because they're counterculture, the opposite of this woke bullshit we care about. They're still shitty. I'm sorry, a lot of crowd-funded comics that go hardcore for quote-unquote conservative values suck ass. And I'm going to be too much of a gentleman to call people out by names, but you know who you are. Okay, there's comics that definitely are hammering on the, I'm a Christian, read this comic, and the comic sucks. It sucks. It doesn't suck because it's Christian. It sucks because it sucks. It sucks because of the same reason as Megan Fitzmartin doing a bunch of stuff that sucks. It all sucks. I don't care what the politics are. It sucks. Anyway, back to the mail. And to also respond to your point about if you don't like it, don't read it, I agree. These comics aren't mine, but they are theirs either. Yeah, except they are. And by theirs, I mean the writers. They've been entrusted with these characters by a corporation which itself doesn't know these writers exist. David Zaslav and the investors in WB have no fucking clue who Megan Fitzmartin is. Yeah, you're right, except Zaslav has hired the executive VP, who hires the other VP, who hires Jim Lee, who hires, the various kind of random people at DC, who ultimately hire Megan Fitzmartin, and he gives comic it does. So you can say, David Zaslav doesn't know the employees, and you're right, but gee whiz, when you run a corporation, you do have a responsibility to your fucking employees. And if your employees are doing dumb shit, it is your job to fire them or change course. And so when you hire employees, and trust me, I currently work in a corporation where I have a very senior position, and I've got employees who manage employees, who manage employees, who manage employees, who manage employees. I last checked, I've got 7 layers of reporting under me. So my job is to make sure the people who report to me, who reported to me, are not fucking idiots. Right? And if they're not, then I trust that they will not hire fucking idiots. And if they don't hire fucking idiots, I trust they don't fucking hire it. And all the way down it goes. And so even though I may not know the individual that 7 layers down is doing, if they start making my life a living hell or ruining my franchise, it is my job to talk to the person who works for me and goes, hey, there's a person 7 layers down that is fucking everything up for us. Go fix it. That is my job. And that is Zaslav's job. Point blank. And also, where we are. But by the way, for the customers, for the fans, stop caring. If you hate it, if it drives you insane, I know it's hard to break the habit of Spider-Man, like it's hard to break the habit of smoking or drinking whiskey or peeing on Arby's. Whatever your habit happens to be done. Be done. If you hate this shit, be done. Don't keep spending money there and then bitching about it, you fucking insane person. Be done. I'm not angry at the writer, by the way. This writer is very good. All right. I want you to imagine your future where your copy of X-Men #1 gets stolen and there's only one other copy in existence. It's up for auction and you bid on it. You lose the bid and the guy who won it burns the comic so he can dunk on the chuds and explains to you these older comics are toxic anyway. That's how I think many people feel about current writers. Okay. It's a good analogy. I get it. But I want to tell you how I feel, and I'm speaking from the heart. If I was in a auction and there's one copy of X-Men #1 is pristine condition, is perfect, I was bidding on it, and I got outbid. And then the person who outbid me, who bought it, burned it and peed on it and called it toxic fandom or whatever. Here's what I would think. And I am 100% honest with you. I would think, well, fuck, I shouldn't have lost that bid. I wish I could have gotten that comic. But instead, I let some jackass win it from me, and that jackass burned it down. And fuck that guy, but I'm not angry at the anything else, but I'm going to move on with my life because at the end of the day, I had my shot to go buy that, and I missed it. So that's on me. I'm serious. That's how I would think. I would not hold a grudge against the person who burned it because he won. That guy won. If I felt like I held something back and didn't compete well enough to win the comic, then I would be pissed at me. I wouldn't be pissed at the person who won it. I'd be pissed at me. I would think, well, what the fuck's wrong with me? Why did I win that bid? That's what I would think. And that's where we're at. So, but I understand not all of you feel that way, and that's fine. You can feel however you want, but that's how I feel. I would hold the responsibility of not winning the bid where it belongs, which is I fucked up. I didn't win. All right. Back to this. That's how I think many people feel about current writers. Yeah, I get that. I get it. But you should try and stop. I'm not saying you're bad for not. I'm just saying you should try. Now, if you don't get there, that's fine. It's your business. But I think you should try. Complete deflation, anger, and disassociation from the books. I'm writing this because I've noticed hearing the word woke around my LCS more than ever than I used to. A lot of normies seem to feel this way too. It's more than just a quality, it's a messaging of these books as well. I realize this is long mail, so I wouldn't mind if you skip it or shorten it to the main points. No, I'm reading it. It's good mail. Look, I respect you for writing this, and I get it. I get what you're saying. My advice back to you is stop giving a shit. And I understand that sounds harsh, and I understand it sounds painful, and you're like, oh, hey. And a lot of people said some shit, and, people like Shane Davis and John Malin will be like, oh, this pussy Perch. Yeah, fuck off. I can beat you guys in a fight any fucking day of the week. But anyway, look, you need to stop caring. Because if you're caring, all you're doing is you're giving your energy, your attention, your thoughts, your emotions to a bunch of people that don't deserve it. So stop. Try and do that. Just stop. Because they do not have skin in the game. This is the thing you need to realize. When people are out there and they're fucking with the things you care about, they don't care. They do not have skin in the game to make these things successful. So if you get in there and you attach emotion to it, you attach attachment to it, all you're doing is giving them power. You're giving them power over you. The right thing to do is go, you know what? I'm going to roast these guys. I'm going to create my own thing that's bigger, better, stronger, and I'm going to make those motherfuckers die in the street of starvation. Maybe that's a little too harsh at the end, but that's what you do. And then it's on you. Bring it. You got a big dick? Put it on the table. Let's see it. I don't actually want to see it, but I mean, let's bring it out. Bring it on. If you think you can beat them, beat them. But don't sit there like a little bitch and say, they're a bunch of woke bastards. Look at they're fucking with our properties. Go beat them if you can. If you can't, then you're the pussy. Quite frankly, you have all the power. You have the money, or you have the creative talent, or both. If you have the creative talent, go beat them. I see a lot of people like, oh, fuck Marvel. These comics are so much better. Great. Bring it. Bring it. I can tell you, every retailer in the world, if you built a strong company that has really great comics that sell amazing books and great numbers and great talent and all the rest, they're really, truly entertaining. Do you think retailers would be like, I wish I could support this amazing product, but I'm loyal to Marvel or DC? Oh, fuck that. The retailers would turn on those guys in a second. Bring it. Bring the better, or don't go to the retailers at all. Do the crowdfunding thing, do the online thing, whatever you want to do. But you can sit there and you can bitch about how they're, disrespecting the franchise, or you can go out and you can make them little bitches. Make them that. Sorry, put up or shut up. That's my challenge to you. Do you have a good idea? Do it. Is your idea that you don't actually have an idea and you can't actually put out a comic and instead you're just going to go to YouTube and Kathleen Kennedy is a little woke bitch and I don't like her because she fucks Star Wars. Cool. Go do it. I understand. There's also the factor of if you go make your own comic book, are the people in charge, is the system going to fuck with you by shutting down the printers or talking to Diamond and the stuff that happened with Zach. The thing I agree with aggressively is when Zach did Jawbreakers, and he did his own comic. So he tried to do it with Antarctic Press, right? Is that what it was? And they fucked him on that. And so he went out and he did his own shit, and he did it with crowdfunding, and he put it out. I think it's legitimate to say, hey, we should actually say that those fuckers over at Diamond and the people who were engaged with that screwed that guy. They took it out of, distribution. Now, the reality is Zach made way more money off of what he did than he would have made out of Antarctic. Way more. I mean, do you want me to run the numbers for you? Absolutely, he made more than he did going through those guys. And it's a shame. And fuck, those guys are a bunch of pussies for caving. They shouldn't have done it. Not the distributor, not the publisher. They should have held strong. And if people want to read the comic, fine. Look, I mean, even if the guy is, and he is not, but even if the guy is the second coming of Hitler, that's for you and me and customers to decide. Don't spend the money. Don't buy it. It's for retailers to decide. I'm not going to carry that thing. Don't. Just don't. It's not for a bunch of crazy manipulation behind the scenes. This is this video has become a fucking truth bomb is what it's become, but But look, I agree. That's a bunch of bullshit that happened to him. It is. At the end of the day, he should have been able to put out his comic and then people decide, do I buy it? Do I not buy it? The end. That was the right answer. But you, the customer, the person who's got their money, if you're not putting out a comic book, this is not your concern. Go put the money where it belongs. Again, you have the power. Hey, a lot of crowdfunded books are failing miserably right now. Miserably. I know we all like to bitch about, like, oh, look, Charlie Jane Andrews is doing something with Marvel Pride and there's a short story, it sucks, and I'm sure it does. Guess what? Marvel Pride, by volume of copies sold, is outselling nearly everything available on crowdfunding today. Everything. Oh, I'm sorry. Does that hurt? It's true. It is. It's outselling all your shit. Okay? So what do you want to do about that? If enough of you think this is valuable and this is important, get the fuck out there. Promote it. Market it. Get your book out there. But, don't play a war of attrition. Don't get out there and say, I'm going to try and attack the Marvel Pride issue. Get your own thing sold. You pussy. Get your own thing sold. That's what you should do. I have no idea what the response to this video is going to be like, but look, man up. And that's not a gender-specific thing. Woman up, they, them up, whatever the fuck you want to do. If you have a good comic to tell, if you have a good story, tell it. Tell it. Stop fucking around and tell it. Otherwise, fuck off. I don't really care. And again, I want to stress, the guy who wrote the mail, not combative, perfectly respectful mail, good topic, I agree. I totally understand the emotion of growing up with Spider-Man and one day some jackass gets on Spider-Man, fucks it all up. Who's responsible for that? Well, the writer who wrote a shitty story, but more the publisher who didn't give a shit enough about you, the customer, to make a good story. That person didn't care. To be clear, you can be as angry as you want around Vita or Tom King or Bendis or Tom Taylor, whatever the fuck you want to do. You can be as angry as you want against those guys. Those guys were given a check by a publisher to write a story. Publisher signed off and said, yep, this looks good to me. So your beef is with the publisher. Yeah, you could bitch about the writer for writing a shitty story. And yeah, you could bitch at the writer for going on Twitter and acting like a complete jackass about it, for sure. By all means, go drive yourself crazy. Go for it. But at the end of the day, the publisher paid for that. That's on them. And if you bought that comic, that's on you. You took money out of your wallet and you bought it. Don't. And by the way, and I speak for this from the retailer perspective, I'm going to tell you something that completely goes against the YouTube narrative. I'm in many retailer groups. And about every 3-4 months, I ask, hey, is anybody coming into your shop and complaining about woke comics? I ask. And the answer, and I would say of about 80 to 100 retailers, is, yeah, nobody does that. Nobody. Now, I understand, you don't necessarily want to go have a confrontation. You just, if you don't like the comic direction, you just stop buying. And I respect that. By the way, no fault against you. But if you're angry and you really want to fuck these people, go to the retailer and say, this comic is a bunch of bullshit. It's not the staying true to the characters. It's throwing a bunch of dumb assholery crap. Fuck that stuff. That's what you need to do. Do that. Okay? And if you do that, you'll be shocked at the retailers. The retailers will start cutting their orders immediately because no retailer is a millionaire. Well, other than me. But most retailers are not. The retailers are like, oh shit, I'm hearing complaints. I should down my order. And they will. They will immediately because they don't want to be stuck with that crap. So if you really want to have an impact, stop fucking around on YouTube or wherever the hell you are, Twitter, and go into your local retailer and say, I'm not buying this shit because it sucks. Do that because money talks. If you truly want to strike a blow, do that. If you think the best way to strike a blow is to pay $5 to some fuckhead super chat, I'm telling you, you're throwing your money into the gutter. Now, maybe you really love the person you're entertaining, that's fine. But you're paying for entertainment. You are not paying for change. There you go. So, hello, all you motherfuckers who decided to stream and cut this. I'm just telling you, rough truth. That's the world. Thanks for listening.